My friends, hello and welcome to another episode of GoldenEye 007 SpeedLore. This is the 8th episode of 10 this year, and tonight we are going to focus on Silo Secret Agent. I mean, really, straight up, it is my definitive level, and I've always had in mind to do this episode at some point this year on Silo Secret Agent. Silo is the level, as you'll see, that I've certainly had a lot of success on. And, throughout the year, each episode I've kind of focused on, an individual player's story and how it pertains to that stage. But this one is my story. And not only is it my story in the level, the way I've been doing the lores have kind of been the level story as seen through the eyes of the players passing through over the years. This one you could almost say is going to be my story as the level passes through it over time. And I'm going to tell some stories that I haven't told on stream yet. Some very deep and serious topics are going to come up tonight. But we are going to present it in the same light as we have all the other Speedlores. So, let's get started. Silo Secret Agent. The Silo level is certainly one of my favorites. It's a lot of people's favorite because it's really exciting, lots of guards and stuff, as you'll soon see. Now, the objectives on Silo Secret Agent are here. Photograph satellite, obtain telemetric data, retrieve satellite circuitry, minimize scientist casualties. Now, Silo is cool because it's different on all three difficulties. On Agent, only A and D are your objectives. Photograph the satellite, minimize the scientist casualties. You just run through, take a picture of the satellite, and run off, and hope scientists don't die. And they often will. They often get left, a guard will throw a grenade in a room, and they'll all die, and that objective fails. It happens a lot on Silo. On Secret Agent, you have to pick up a couple of objects. The telemetric data is the DAT. It's in sort of this third big room. One scientist has it, and he has to throw it at you, hopefully, and you can get it quickly. The satellite circuitry are located in the first three big rooms, as you'll see, and you have to pick them up successfully. On Double Agent, you have to also plant the plastiques in all of the four big rooms, and so what that requires is to pause into the watch in each of the four rooms. So on Secret Agent and Agent, you're pausing once. On Double Agent, you're pausing 5 times. And so, Secret Agent, Double Agent have always been a certain number of seconds apart. Agent and Secret have always been around 7 or 8 seconds apart historically. And Double Agent has been, anywhere from 10 to 20 beyond Secret Agent. But let's get started with a run. And now, another crazy thing about Silo Secret Agent is, in the history of GoldenEye, only 9 people have ever held the world record on this level, on Silo Secret Agent. Only 7 of those people have ever provably held the record. 2 of them, Sterling Neblet and Steven Jortiez, who you may remember from previous SpeedLore episodes. These guys never had proof that they held the record on Silo Secret Agent. So only 7 men have ever had the record on this level, and I will show a video from all 7. And, because Sterling and Jortiez had the records early on, and they don't have any videos, I could only go back so far. And the furthest I could go back was this run by Wouter Jansen, an untied world record, which was set in December 2001. Let's give it a watch. And, this should show you a little bit at the level. I know it's in the webcam format, but you'll at least get a feel. And we're going to watch another similar run immediately after. So there he is picking up the circuitry. And really, it's a combination. You'll see a lot of shooting to lure each door that you're approaching. You're hoping to lure a guard to that door to open it up. And, so you saw a guard open that door before Wouter got there. This door at the top of the stairs here is going to be open. And that's Silo in a nutshell, essentially, for you there. shoot with the right timing, look the right directions, get the guards to open the doors for you. There is the scientist who has the DAT. That's an objective. He's picked up the last circuitry. You know, this door's open. And Wouter's playing it much like anyone would play Silo Secret Agent. Another thing that's interesting on this level is that the strategy really has not changed all that much, if at all. Very minimally so, since this run in 2001. And sort of what that shows is that the level becomes sort of a exhibition of just knowledge and skill and resilience to improve your time on the level, as opposed to like a big skip thanks to a new strategy or something like that. Anyways, Wouter Jansen, 116, if you could make that out, 116 on Silo Secret Agent in December 2001. Truly remarkable quality. That being said, I would consider it better quality than Marc Rutzou's in the last couple of years. Couldn't make out too much, so let's watch another run, this one by Bryan Bosshardt of Silo Secret Agent, who would tie Wouter's 116 in March of 2003. So Wouter's 116 is a pretty good mark to sort of initially watch, because it stood untied for over a year. And it was in an era where a lot of things were unoptimized, so it was a good mark. So there, Boss is picking up the circuits. He also got the key card. Pretty much any time he is shooting, it is by design to lure a guard to open a door ahead of him. And switching to the PP7 there, for example, was probably at the time to lure, or to be more quiet, as to not lure certain guards forward, in hopes of luring them later to open the door at a different time. So every sort of shot on this level is very, very carefully planned. There's the DAT, there's the circuitry, and Boss progresses through the level. Opens that door. And if a door isn't open, it's probably because there's no efficient way at your speed to get a guard to open it for you. But that's sort of the name of the game on Silo Secret Agent. Really nice boosting there. You'll see that kind of come up as well. You have to pause for the picture to photograph the satellite. So obviously, it's pretty apparent to anyone who knows speedrunning, if you pause further back down a hallway, guards may boost you forward, and it might push you closer to the objective, and it might save a lot of time. So there's Boss's 116, tied Wouter Jansen's mark. And I mean, these are old runs, for sure, but you'll quickly see that this strategy didn't really change much. Boss would untie this thing at 115 in August 03. And in October 03, Wouter would tie that. And now this is a really clear run, so we'll go over this one and really kind of show and talk about all the things that make Silo Secret Agent the level it is. So here he's trying to kill guards. I don't know if it was necessarily known at the time, but the more guards you kill, the less laggy the level becomes, and it's a very, very laggy level, so you want to kill a lot of guards. Probably around, 2005, 2007, we really figured that out to be the case. Before then, it was probably more speculation. There's Wouter killing that guard, picking up the circuits. You can see them clearly, finally. A bunch of shots here. Circuitry there. Up the stairs. That was pretty smooth. He got stuck on a guard in those stairs. You're almost always going to get stuck on that guard in those stairs in this era. It's just the nature of the level. There's so many guards. There are going to be places where you unavoidably are going to get stuck. That was really nice weaving through the guards on this level, I gotta say. That was fantastic. Great DAT pickup. Great headshot there. And Wouter's really using a lot of the KF7. You'll see if that evolves over time. pauses the camera, you know, got a couple good boosts to this door, photographed the satellite, and that was a very nice sort of satellite pause hallway. If you see back there, he shot 3 times to warp the Ormov door. That is certainly antiquated. We switch weapons now to warp doors, but back then you'd see in a lot of old Wouter videos, he shoots to try to warp a door. Very old school strats on display there. And there we have a 115. So now another cool thing, a very cool thing about Silo, is that there is a timer on the level. So you can know your pace of the run. The timer starts at 7:30 or so. So 6:23, okay, so a minute 7 has passed, you know. And if we watch through the ending, we'll see what time he finishes at and sort of do the math and see if it makes sense from there. So he finishes at about 14:03. From 7:30, that's what, 1 minute 15 seconds, 0.97? But it's not exactly accurate because the timer doesn't start right. The timer starts a little bit before you get control of bond, around this 0.62. And so the last visible decimal, the 0.62 is sort of the cutoff. So pretend the timer starts at 0.62 or so, and then do the math at the ending. So 729.62 minus 614.04, 614.03. You know, what do we have there? A 115.51 or so. So this was a mid 115, a pretty solid run, and that's how you can kind of get a feel. That's how, if you ever watch one of us stream Silo Secret Agent, you're going to see that we know what the pace of the run is. We know when we have the run or not. And that's a pretty cool thing. So Wouter got this run in late 03, and this is kind of cool because it was back at the time when Boss and Wouter really were rivals, and they would fight each other. I was kind of going to say like Godzilla and King Kong there. That's really what it was. They were two juggernauts going at it, and Wouter would untie a time, Boss would tie it. Boss would untie a time, Wouter would untie it. And that was a little bit before my time when I got to the Elite. So I never got to see really that in full action. But there certainly was a period where that was the case. And this is the era we're witnessing it. But that era wouldn't last forever. In 2004, Bryan Bosshardt really, really pulled away hard. He became the champion. I've said pretty much almost in every SpeedLore episode it comes up that he at one time had all but 9 world records. He was that good at the game. I mean, to compare, Ace is unbelievable right now. He has 40 world records, and Boss had 51. It's absolutely mind-blowing of the game's 60 levels. And this one was perhaps his best. The record was 115. Watch this speedrun, boys. And if you were watching the other ones closely, you would see a lot of stucks, a lot of hang-ups, a lot of maneuvering. And that, again, these were the world records. These were untied by numerous seconds over the rest of the field. Silo's Secret Agent, you have to keep in mind, each guard, they will only die if you shoot them in the head, twice in the body, or 4 times in the limbs. So each guard, it's very hard to get through them efficiently. You can see right there, like, certainly better than the previous runs, but certainly not easy at all. A tiny stuck there. A little bit of overboosting, a tiny stuck there. Like, it's insane. When you see the time of this run, you're gonna go, you know, and to think it could even have been more insane. I mean, if you can do the math already, you know, there you have it, right? But Silo Secret Agent 112. 112. Truly incredible. 3-second untied over Wouter. And to think Wouter and him had 115 and 116, I don't know what third place was, but it was 3 seconds ahead of second place. That time lasted for a very, very long time. 2004, early 2004, Boss was doing a ton of damage on the rankings. This is when he got stuff like Runway 22. He untied sweeped, Control. He untied sweeped Statue. He really did a lot of nasty things to the game. And if I show you right here, this is almost too nasty to show, to be honest. I don't want to say it's NSFW, but this is just nuts. Boss, Silo, untied sweep, 105, 112, 132. Really, really very nice times on that level. And I mean, you could just look at the rank. Like, look how much Bunker 2 sweep, Statue sweep. It was just disgusting. Now, I'm sure if we go back in time far enough, Wouter will have had an untied sweep on Silo as well. See right here. I mean, some impressive Carl Jobst untieds at this point in time, but back in 2002, Wouter also had an untied sweep, and we'll see. Maybe we'll see this trend continue of the best Silo players getting untied sweeps. So what happened next? And I have to at least give some sort of levity to the situation, because again, Boss was so far ahead, it was nonsensical. We all know through these episodes now of a gentleman, I called him last time Hapless Jimbo. I'm going to show Jimbo's run. This is now in 2005, just to show what the next best competitors were up to on Silo Secret Agent at the time. And this was maybe one of Jimbo's absolute best runs when he was in his prime, when he was going up to third place. Jimbo was always kind of particularly talented on Silo. I just showed the records as 105, 112, 132 across all 3 difficulties. Jimbo had 106 Agent. You got this run on Secret Agent. Some of us know about him on 00 Agent. And so this is a very good run. You're going to see some differences and see how it's sort of shaped from the 112. Or where the competitors stacked up at the time. And you can see right there, some more stuckage on these guards. Right there wasn't too clean, but he got through a little bit. And that's what happens a lot in Silo, is you'll get stuck a ton every run. It's the run where you can somehow get cleanly through the stucks that are more successful. And it's such an incredibly frustrating level to play, because you're just constantly getting abused by these guards. So Jimbo paused there, pauses for the camera, gets 1 boost forward, a very nice pitcher, a little bit of a stuck though, and squeeze up the stairs, warps, and he's gonna have a pretty solid ending here. Man, that was close to the cutoff time. That could have been better. 114 Secret Agent. Very, very nice run. Well done, Jimbo. I think we should go actually check out the third room. A very key point on this level. I call these rooms that you enter, that all sort of have the same setup with the items you have to pick up, and the scientists in them. These are the big rooms. And there's 4 of them. The 4th has a satellite you have to take a picture of. The other 3 have the stuff you have to pick up. The second one here, Jimbo's in. And it's very important to note the time you enter the third room, because that's sort of your splits on this level in a sense. And we're going to see Jimbo on this run enter it at 49. So a guard started opening the door at 51, and Jimbo entered at 49. Okay, so let's see what happens on Boss's 112. A 2-second faster run. So a guard's opening at the 53, and Boss is in it at 51. So there's the 2 seconds right there. Boss gained those 2 seconds at the beginning of Silo as opposed to the end. And it's not always very easy to see for people who don't know the level. We call it kind of having an eye for a run. So the interesting thing with Silo certainly is that on Secret Agent, and all the difficulties, but especially notable on Secret Agent, is that the guard who opens this door to the third room, he opens it in cycles of 2 seconds. So he'll open it at 53, or 51, or 49, or 47, or 45, or 55, but he won't start opening it at the even numbers, really. And it's just sort of, I guess, how the game deals with the guards all being semi-loaded in further rooms deep into the silo, and they hear noise, they come running, and he only opens it on the odd numbers. And so, I mean, if Boss got a 112 with a 53 open door and a 51 in the room, that's sort of the mark to go for. Okay, so, Jimbo's run here was from early 05. 2005, of course, some of us know was the year that I joined the Elite. I had heard of it before when I was a young lad, and, I was 12 using the internet. Literally, I'm 12, what is this? That was my reaction to the Elite. But when I was 15, 16, I remember it, I checked it out, and I joined in mid-2005. And I did some damage in the game. I guess I always kind of saw the potential. I was able to get good world records fairly quickly. I was able to get untied world records fairly quickly. And I took a liking to Silo. I really, really enjoyed Silo. I don't know, it was just so fun to just run through and shoot all the guards and whatnot. And yeah, I got so good at Silo that within 1 year of me joining, I got some good Silo records. I got 105 Agent. I tied Boss's record there. I got 131 Double Agent. I tied his record there. We were doing some really good damage on Silo. And if we skip ahead a couple months here, eventually I would untie the Double Agent, or I'd untie Agent as well. See, I would get 104 on Agent. I'd get 130 on Double O. At this point, I'm sort of the Silo king. I was really, really doing some really solid work. But I could not nab the 112 on Secret Agent. It was insanely difficult. And for some reason, I was just really, really struggling with it. I mean, 112 had been the record for a very long time. It was insane. How could I possibly tie this time? And the crazy thing was, I spent so much time on Silo Agent, so much time on Silo Double Agent, and I maybe even spent more time on Silo Secret Agent. And so I was able to untie Agent, untie Double Agent, and I couldn't tie Secret Agent. A very strange thing happened in October of 2006. And I mean, you guys can tell I was 17 years old. I was in the 12th grade, going through high school, going through the stuff we maybe all go through in high school. And I was also trying to become a top GoldenEye speed runner. Of course, things don't always go exactly as planned. I was going for the 112. Look, I have a chance at an untied sweep here. A strange man by the name of Trent Hovis, Trey aka Hot Dog, posted that he had achieved Silo Secret Agent 112 in the world record topic, which substantiates it as real. Like, you don't post fake times in the world record topic. You don't. And so this really upset me, because for months beforehand, I was just playing hours and hours and hours of Silo Secret Agent, and I could not get 112. And, like, it meant everything to me at the time. Like, I could have got the Untied, And I could not get it. And, I was kind of knowing the forums, like, I'm young, immature, I was more emotional, I'd go on lots of rants. I mean, how's that much different from today? But, certainly I was a lot more emotional and didn't have these things in check as much. I was really upset when Trent posted that 112. You know, here's the reaction. This is the reaction I wanted to get this acclaim from my peers. Lark. Oh, MFG Trent, it's sick. OMG Trent. Oh. Then I'm like, you know, I retire from life by Boss. Pount SHRT. I'm not sure why Boss was talking about HRT back then, but whatever. And then I just came home and saw this 2 hours ago. I've been sitting in this chair crying now that whole time. I don't understand. I don't even want to play it. If anything, rather than get more motivation, I just feel like nothing. I never want to play GoldenEye again. These are quite some stiff words, really. Some heavy words coming from me there. Wouter. You know, I thought by retiring from... That's funny, actually. I thought by retiring from life, you went playing GoldenEye forever. Of course, the joke is that if you play GoldenEye forever, you don't have a life. Commissar, the legendary administrator, the bad administrator of the Elite. Maybe it's time for a huge proof call. Awesome job, Trent. What the hell? Proof call. Elu, how could you do that to Goose, Trent? And then Trent says, I know you don't want to hear this, but it isn't taped. None of my recent PRs since I got to college are. The record was never ranked. Ever. Trent, I firmly believe Trent didn't get 112, and he just wanted to, like, make me upset, and he obviously succeeded. But yeah, you know, and then Jimbo goes, why the hell would you play Silo Say without taping? Something's not right here. Oh yeah, look, Jimbo's referencing his Caverns 123 untaped from last episode. Isn't that cool? And so, like, I was just stewing in this hatred. Like, I was just like, oh my god, like, how could this happen to me? I deserve the Silo SA record. I've put so much time into it. This loser, idiot Trent. And, like, I can't even get into Trent. Like, I'm one day going to have to make a profile piece video on Trent, because the guy is just... There's so many insane pieces to his story. You know, this is extremely minor in comparison to some of the other shit he pulled later on in the Elite. Very strange stuff. You know, just as a... In brief, he invented a strategy where if you push on the circuit board of the second controller, it freezes the in-game timer. He got and claimed some untied world records with this strategy. Caused a huge shitstorm in the Elite. Huge drama. And that's not the whole story. And that, you know, that's just one of the things he did. Very insane guy. Absolutely insane. This is the kind of garbage he would always pull all the time. And me, an emotional young 17-year-old, would find it hard to deal with. However, after a month of really, really stewing and getting angry and emo and mad and hating life like all 17-year-olds do, or, you know, like many do, in November, I finally did it. I got Silo Secret Agent 112. 130 hours. I guess I always said that I messed a lot with the settings combinations. I'd play 1.1 control style, which isn't good. You don't want to do that. I'd play widescreen, cinema screen, full screen, 16:9, normal screen. I tried a bit of 1.2, all this kind of stuff. 9 114s, 4 113s, and I finally nailed the 112. Let's watch that run. Well, that's the thing, Carl, is 130 hours isn't... Yeah, exactly. It's not much at all anymore. But it was. It was back then. It was a lot back then. So let's see this run. And this run will be done in widescreen 16:9. It's how I got most of my PRs back then. Good warp. Really nice kill. Some nice shots. Pick up the key card. Really nice movement here. Really solid. Very fast. Kill him at like 15 on the clock, which is really good. Open that door at a mid-8, warp it. And so, if you noticed what I did differently there, and this is sort of the biggest strategy innovation really ever on Silo Secret Agent, is that if you get the keycard in the first room, you can open the second door yourself, make no noise, and you have an easier time in the second room. 38 warp to the silver crates, 2 back boosts. Really nice headshot. Almost got trolled by the rolling guard. Pause there. Pull out the camera. Snap a pic. This run is like... Look how good this run is, guys. Absolutely incredible. Could have been 111. Could have been 111 with that warp there. 112. 112. Yeah, I knew that was 112 during that run. And if you look here, if I warped at 1768, if I was in the lift, it would have been untied. It would have been 111. So I opened at like 1810. I had half a second to get in, and I missed, and I got in at 18. Such as life, it was a 112 tie. And again, so notice here in the first room how I'm going to shoot this guard, get his key card, shoot 6 times, and then 3 times here, and then I warp this guard to the PP7 and use the PP7. I open this door myself, warp it, and now there's no one in this room. And now I can shoot, and the stairs are clear. And I'm out of this room at 7:03. Let's watch Boss's run at this point again. Or Jimbo's even is a fine, actually, this is Jimbo's, is a good example. He gets the key card, but he doesn't know to open the door there. The door to the second room. So now he's shooting like a madman, shooting like a madman. You know, I warped in it at 7:08. He has a guard open at 7:06. And stuck, and he's out of this room at like 7:01. I'm out at 7:03. And now let's compare to even Boss's. So Boss will be in the first room. He shoots. This is Boss's 112. He doesn't get the key card. Some nice shot firing here. Really smooth. That's like beautifully smooth. But again, it's just the suboptimal strat. The guard opens the door at 7:08. Some stuck. Gets through here very cleanly. And he's still at, 7:02. So Boss is still slightly slower. Like, that was... Boss's run was pretty much as perfect as it gets with the strategy he was using. And he's out at 7:02. And the strategy that I used, opening the door yourself, I'm out at 7:03. It just reduces so much. I mean, there's so much variance and luck already in the level with guard shots, guard motions, etc. Like these guards, the silver crates, if they take aim at you and shoot, they're gonna hit you and back boost you. If they're ducking or pulling grenades, they won't. Like that's so much luck, and it's so key on the level. Hugely important. Then again, though, you have to be really good at the level to take advantage of that luck, and that usually doesn't happen. And alas, I was really good, and I did take advantage of said luck and nailed this 112. And that again is the biggest strategy development on all of Silo Secret Agent in history. So now if we take a look at the world record rankings at that time, after I got the 112 tie, late 06, early 07, 104 Agent untied, 112 Secret Agent tied with Boss. Again, the next closest was Jimbo's 114, and 130 Double O Agent. I think Dan Cervoni also had 114, so a couple at 114, and there's some distance in between these guys. Now comes February 2007, and again, I feel like I'm referencing last episode a ton. February 07, I got 3 untieds. And actually, I've talked about both these untieds in previous episodes. I got Frigate Secret Agent 102, Caverns Secret Agent 122, and I continued to play Silo Secret Agent. Now, this is an untied world record, of course. This is as vintage as it gets. This is how I used to film my runs before sending them off to Alex Anderson to capture. It was an Untied, of course. I couldn't record audio on the digital camera that I had. And I put some crazy music in it, as I always do. If there is one run that defines my career from my first few years speedrunning, really before the Twitch era, it's this run. Enjoy. Silo Secret Agent, 1 minute, 10 seconds. A 2-second Untied. Truly an incredible run. Like I say, I would digital capture, digicam these runs just for instant proof, and then I would send a VHS tape to Alex Anderson to recapture it. Let's watch it in captured quality, so we can make a little bit more out of sense of the run. And honestly, I get chills watching that. It's like the proudest run I've ever done, really. It's just a thing of absolute beauty. Beautiful kill in that guard. Beautiful kill in that guard. Key card. There's sort of one moment in the run where the guards try to mess you up, as they always do on Silo Secret Agent. Everything else goes really well. There's one moment, and I just play it so perfectly, it's nonsensical. Really nice headshots. Get a boost up here. That door started to open at 55. I'm in it at 52. Pick up the thing right here. This guard tries to stuck me, and I just hammer through his chest to get to the other side. Insanely good warp. You don't know how hard that is to pull off an over leg you get. It's absolutely nuts. So I paused down here in hopes I would get more boosts, which would save time. Insane snapshot, up the stairs, warp. Extremely strong ending. The ending always, you're never gonna have a perfect ending. Really good ending though. And it ended up being a 110.8, a solid 110 to boot. My first Untied sweep. And the thing that you start to feel when you're playing this level, again, to get 112, I played 130 hours. And I played more hours at 110, dozens and dozens of more hours. And what started to click in my mind was every motion I take in this level, it's very easy to play a video game on autopilot. And you're kind of just, you're so muscle memories in tune. You go through it, you do stuff. On Silo Secret Agent, every single item every single button you press, every single motion, you're playing it and you're thinking, okay, all these guards ahead of me can do all these animations. They can be in all these places. They can be standing or crouching. They can be shooting or kneeling or rolling. And I was always thinking, how is this guard going to screw me? And what can I do to overcome it at every second of every moment during this level? And so, like, the start's pretty, like, straightforward. Like, you can consistently get this start, pick up the key card, kill that guard with chest shots, kill this guard with chest shots, warp this door. You can very consistently get this start. PP7 that guard. This hallway can get a bit messy with the guards, either standing and shooting or kneeling. They knelt. I warped this. Circuit board. Up here, you know, a tiny fraction was stuck there, so nice headshot. I'm through there. And then, like, every moment thinking, what can happen if I get stuck on that guard? How am I going to keep moving? If I get stuck on this guard, how am I going to keep moving? And I just didn't get stuck on the guards. The third room, one back boost there, again, I could easily got stuck on that guard. Headshot at him. Picked up the circuitry. Right here, I'm like, what can I do to get through here? And I had so many untied world record pace runs die on this staircase. I just, like, knew I had to, like, look up and then push hard left and try to hammer through this guard, and it worked. I nailed him twice in the chest and got through. And then this area is so laggy. And I warped there perfectly, which is really hard to do. Warped here perfectly. Made it out of the silver crates with no back boost, which is insane. I tried to injure the guard down the hall, and I paused early to get some boosts. I remember actually someone screenshotted, like, this exact moment in the 110 in the world record discussion thread. Someone screenshotted this exact moment, and with, like, a subtitle, "What time is it, Goose, lol?" And it says, "Goose, it's Silo SA 110, mate." And that was a really good, you know, early days of memeing back in 07 there. And nailed it. Great. Objective. Warp the door to Ormov. And really the rest is history. And this was my best month of playing GoldenEye ever. 3 Untitled records. And the masterpiece of it all was this Silo Secret Agent 110. Beautiful. And yeah, you know, like, obviously my music choice in the digicammed vid, you know, my music choice back then was heavily influenced by Alex Anderson in a lot of ways. I would listen to either country music or electronic music, you know, largely happy hardcore and nightcore and stuff. And you know, he was always telling me about going to these raves and having this sick time. And you know, I never would go to these raves and whatnot, but I liked the music certainly, and it was you know, cool for GoldenEye videos. You know, I remember actually we were having this discussion on Discord a couple days ago, talking about nightcore and where, you know, oh, how did you discover nightcore, which is obviously just like sped up pop music, generally speaking. And Alex discovered it off of LimeWire back in 2006 and shared it with me. And of course, it was just a bunch of random, you know, electronic pop, hardcore songs sped up and whatnot, all mislabeled, you know, Nightcore in the title, and it was all on LimeWire. And it was just not. If you remember downloading stuff on LimeWire, you know how disorganized and chaotic it was. And this was one of my favorite tunes from that era of discovery, and hence I used it in my favorite world record. And so after that point, yeah, I mean, look, if we look at that point, I then had the Untied sweep. 104, 110, 130. Absolutely beautiful, absolutely brilliant, loved it. And I think if we skip it a couple months, I improved the double to 129. You know, so Silo was always certainly my level. And that Untied sweep is like my pride on Silo Secret Agent. Okay. So what... Oh yeah, let's look at this actually. So if you can look, This is all of the world records that were set in 2007. All the Untieds, actually, a lot of them. And if we look at February, right here, from February to February, it's all me or Ace. So my best month ever of playing GoldenEye, I got 3 Untieds. You know, Silo 110, Cavs 122, Frig 102. Ace got 11 Untieds. Of course, you know, glory stolen yet again. Thunder stolen again, as always. Ace literally was 11 years old at the time. Couldn't stop him from just, you know, sticking it to me there, so. Anyways. Silo's secret agent would stay untied for a long time, guys. In March 2008, I couldn't avoid it forever, of course. In March of 2008, Perfect Ace, the man who, you know, was catching fire quickly on the GoldenEye rankings, got this run. Nice headshot there. Very lucky keycard get off the Scientist. Oh, missed the warp. Insane. Good kill there. Good injure there. Warps to the right side. Oh, that squeeze for the keycard was really, really impressive. Some nice, beautiful headshots. Lucky kneeling guards with beautiful headshots. Ace opened the door to the third room himself. Now again, so many runs get lost on that third room because the guard doesn't open it on the right cycle. You can be there fast enough for the 53 cycle, but the guard might not open it, and Ace got around that by opening the door himself, picking up the key card in the second room, opening it to the third room, and really remarkable. Nice warp. Good boost. And there we have it. Oh, that was a high run, man, too. Ace tied my 110. And so, yeah, so the way Silo works is that in the first room, that keycard opens the exit of that room and the entrance to the second room. The second room keycard opens the exit of the second room and entrance to the third room, and so on. And so Ace figured out a way that if he went in between the consoles here, rather than around to the right like I did, he could get both the circuitry and the keycard and open the third room himself, which would just improve consistency, because you wouldn't have to have a guard open it. And it very much did. Here's Ace's comments on 110 from March 08 when he posted it. 708 door, you know, he posted the door, 653 door, yeah, messed up a bit, great pause, took around 7 hours, way overrated. Dude, did you know 12-year-olds could be such dicks? So rude, man. It was my baby. This run was my baby, and Ace just desecrated it in a very cruel way. Yeah, he really hasn't changed one bit, Jono. Now, throughout 2008, the 110, well, Clemens would actually tie the 110 in October 08, and it would stay the three-way tied. You know, me, Ace, and Clemens. And at least I could take some sort of solace in that, because those were the two best other players now. We're, you know, 08, we're past the era of Wouter and Boss. We're into the era of Clemens and Ace. So at least I was like, you know what, my baby 110, my favorite Untitled record ever, at least it's still a very good record because it still holds up, and only the best players have it. A year went by. A year went by. In October of 2009, and now at this point I was actually in a very interesting place in life, because you know, I'd been starting to work up north in the summer times, and I was going to school working up north, and then, you know, the 09-10 season, I took the year off of school. So I was pretty degen, I was pretty degen. I wasn't really playing much either. I was almost neat. The one thing that I was doing was I was coaching hockey with my father for the first time. We were coaching a single A team, and so that occupies a lot of time. I was doing that. We were having a good time doing that. It was, it's a fun thing to do in Canada. Give back to the community, coach some minor hockey. But aside from that, I was really not doing much else. I was just shit posting on the internet. I wasn't playing GoldenEye as much, but I was able to get this run. Yeah, it's like, no, really, I took some time off school and just kind of did nothing. I think it was kind of a good decision, to be honest, because so many young men are kind of forced into going to school and doing something that's not necessarily right for them. And you got to just take some time to figure out what you want to do. And you'll see that kind of comes up later in a little bit. But in that time, I would still bring out the GoldenEye controller. Nice warp. Nice kill. Missed the warp. Didn't go for the keycard either. Oh. Nice boost. Opening the guards, opening at 55. I'm in at 50. I'm in at a high 52, low 53. Left strafe circuit board. Through that guard. Oh, baby. This is a speed run. Nice kill. Nice warp. Some troll stuckery there. Somehow luckily avoided a back boost. A nice forward. The guard's in a great spot. Oh, baby. What a speed run. Silo Secret Agent 109. I still had it. And the crazy thing is, if you look at the end timer here, 120, 36, 620, 36, that means it was a 109.27. It was really close to 108. It was a beautiful run. Now the crazy thing is, as you can see, this is my personal record history. I did not play much. Look, 05, 06, I was getting all sorts of world records all the time. 07. In 08, 09, and 2010, when I was sort of in this strange period of kind of, not doing too much, I wasn't even really playing GoldenEye that much. I only got a handful of records here. And, yeah, Silo SA 109 was one of them. It's kind of insane to look right here and see that I got damn Agent 53 after Silo SA 109. I mean, that's kind of funny. I could tell you now that only 6 people in history have got 109. That speed. Meanwhile, hundreds of people have gotten damn 53. So it's kind of funny, but it's how it kind of works out. And yeah, I kind of forget what was going on in 2009, 2010. I really do. I was just kind of being a degenerate, truly. I think if I remember hard enough, I was just shit posting a lot on various strange message boards. And that was it. But for that brief moment I got Silo Secret Agent 109, I was very happy. And it spawned kind of a meme. I kind of stated, oh, guys, someone was saying, what was Clemens? I forget what Clemens exactly was saying, but I don't know, Clemens called the level strange or something. And yeah, I spent 1,250 hours on Silo 110. That was my claim. Probably not true. Anyways, later on, Ace would make a thread where he kind of says, oh, who's the most degenerate runner in GoldenEye history? And when he's talking about me, he says that I claimed, I still spent 1,250 hours for Silo SA 110. The meme lives on. Did I really spend 1,200 hours on Silo SA? Probably not, but it's a good legendary meme, if that's what we want to think. So like I say, I was kind of in this sort of lost period of time, really not doing much. And the Silo 109, though, was... I mean, we know how insane these runs are right now. We know this is crazy stuff. It would remain untied for over 1 year time. So now 1 year later, in 2010, November, David Clemens would get this run. Oh yeah, this is maybe what I was responding to or something. David Clemens called this the gayest level ever. Okay, gayest level ever. Let's watch it. You know how young guys were back then. I imagine his run will look pretty similar to mine, but we'll see. So he warps to the unarmed, shifts back to PB7. Some reasonable shots here. Good keycard pickup. Good shot. It was 7 years ago, Anubis. So Clemens didn't get the keycard. He went for the keycard in the second room, didn't quite get it. Well, probably would be, Carl, exactly. Probably would be. Well, a 55 door open, 53 entry. This is an insanely fast run. Right strafe circuitry pickup. I think my left strafe's still faster. You can see he's dripping a bit of time here. When the game's running at 12 frames per second, it is really, really hard to not drip time away. Nice boost to avoid the back there. Pretty lucky. Got through nicely. And this is a 109 all the way. I mean, like, Clemens' run, I feel like my 110 and 109 just looked, like, super clean, super tight, really, like, artistic and beautiful. And Clemens just looked like a warrior just plowing through the stage, using every piece that he could to get through it. I mean, really, that was a fighter's run. There were so many instances where he was getting stuck in stuff and just plowed right through. So if we take a look at the elite rankings at that time now, right after that happened, right after Clemens tied my 109, you'll see that's what we had, 109 on Secret Agent. Agent and Double have been improved. I was starting to lose a bit of my fire on Silo. I wasn't quite the same hero anymore. And that was, December 2010. Now remember this. 102, 123. Okay. In 2012, 2 years later, we're skipping at 2 years in time. Silo's now 101, 122. Agent and Double O have been improved. And Clemens and I still have 109. I mean, that is a testament to how insane Silo SA 109 is at the time. Really a magnificent run, a masterful run, and it lasted all that period. I mean, now, look, now the dangerous Marc Rutzou is on the boards. And not even he can match 109 yet. Someone else could, though. A little bit later, a gentleman ace. I don't know if I should call him a gentleman. He tied 109. That was something. A few months later, in December 2013, Luke Szklarz, the fiery young man coming up on the rankings, would also match Silo's Secret Agent 109. A really nice one. I mean, this, again, like 109 is insane. 109 is just really too much to handle. And when I show you the rankings at the end of this all, you're really going to see how crazy it is. But yeah, Luke, I mean, a very clean run. Luke now has the benefit of all these sort of modern, known strats. And misses the warp. Gets the keycard, though. That was pretty clutch to hold through the boost. He had a bad boost. He would have missed the keycard, but held it back. Picked it up. The door should be open here for him. No, he had to open himself. Wow. Thrower 52 got the DAT, got the circuit board. Nice kill there. Threw pretty smoothly up here. And, yeah, nice warp. Another nice warp. The silver crates, you will see so many 109 pace runs fail at those silver crates, getting back boosted 3, 4, 5 times. I'm not even kidding. It's disgusting how quickly you can get back boosted on this run. Nice warp. $119.81. Yeah, pretty damn fire. Luke Szklarz, Silo, Secret Agent 109. Okay, so I think now we have to sort of start to talk about a couple things that come up. We're in late 2013 now. I'm streaming. Some of you might remember at that time I was streaming Archives, Secret Agent, Double Agent 54 attempts. That was a lot of fun, actually. Had a good time on that stream. And my stream was kind of like blowing up. It was really getting crazy. I went to AGDQ 2014. I've been practicing agent single segment runs. And yeah, it was, things were going really well. And at this time, again, I'd kind of been just... Well, one thing I was doing is I was coaching hockey again in 2013-14. My dad and I had been away from it for a couple of years. And we're like, we had the hunger again to compete and get back involved in minor hockey. So now we're coaching AA hockey, and it was keeping me occupied, and I was also streaming, and it was a really, it was a good time. It was good manly activities, speedrunning and coaching hockey. And I made the decision, though, in February 2014, that I want to go back to college, I want to go back to school, and I wanted to do something in broadcasting to go along with my streaming. And so the hockey seasons run from like September to March or so in Canada, like the minor hockey seasons do. And so February's closing down the hockey season. You take summer off, and then, August, September, you get the team back together and start training up again. And February 2014, I asked my father, I'm like, look, man, I'm doing this streaming thing. I explained to him sort of the potential of it, where it goes. People are, people doing it professionally, all that kind of stuff. And I said, I'm going to go back to school. Maybe next year I won't have the time to coach hockey with you. Is that okay? Maybe if you take the team solo. And he obviously was fine with that. He was obviously cool with me going back to school and getting more education. I mean, who wouldn't be, of course? So I applied to college, I got in, and I was, going to go back to school in September. Sometime around mid-2014, a lot was going on. I'm sort of getting, we're amping up for the next hockey season. At this point in time, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to go to college. I'm going to tell my dad I'm not going to coach hockey with him this year. I'm going to, I thought in 2014 I was making enough money to move out, and I was like, I'm going to move to live near the college. It was an hour drive or so away. I'm going to get an apartment there. I'm going to spend my free time streaming and speedrunning, and so put hockey aside. I'm just going to focus on school and my career now. And it seemed like a good idea. And of course, all ideas seem like good ideas until things happen. Now, one of the things that happened, certainly a less effectual thing that happened in mid-2014, was that Perfect Ace would get this run on Silo Secret Agent. Let's see what Ace does. Oh, insane. 2 back boosts, but it's an insane run. A little bit of a stuck. Oh. Silo's equation 108.90. He barely eked it out. That warp was insane. He barely eked this warp out. Barely got in, dude. Look, the game's running at legitimately, like, 6 frames a second. Look, 2140, okay, so 2133, 25, 16. Look at the ending here. 10, 3, 96, 90, 83, 71. The game's running at, like, literally 10 frames a second or something insane. And he makes it out. Yeah, Jono loves this. This is insane. The third room is so laggy and chaotic. And the guards open the door and just... Oh. Ace got 108 Silastic Region. And normally I would be pretty upset, pretty bent up about that. But if you remember, and this was July 2014, if you watched my stream back then, you would have known that I was playing Street's Secret Agent, and I got the Street's Secret Agent Untitled record 154 during that month. It was really, I mean, that was crazy. That was insane. And I also got a lot of other good world records around the same time, like Surface 1, 148, Bunker 1, 102. And it was really wild stuff. So normally I would have been really mad about Ace, you know, taking my baby, the world record that I've held and been so proud of for, at this point, like, what is it, 8 years solid? But I wasn't too mad because I was doing my own thing with streaming. I had big plans. I was going to college. I was going to stream in the evenings. And, yeah, I was getting Untitled records on stream, right? So I wasn't letting Ace bring me down. Okay, so here's, I guess, where things get a little bit serious or interesting. Probably going to monologue a bit here, so let's go to the sunset. No, but it's you know, it's real stuff, and it's real life, and it's interesting, actually. The sunset is a good setting at which to discuss this, because this sunset was at the cottage, and every year the family, we'd all go up to the cottage. You know, we try to get 2 weeks together, hang out in the cabin. You guys have seen it in the videos. It's really nice and cozy. The beach is beautiful, and we all have a good time there. And as we got older, it was harder to get everyone together at the same time. But usually we'd be able to find a weekend here or there where all the kids who are now adults would be able to meet mom and dad up the cottage, and we'd hang out and have a good family time. And we did, and in 2014 we had a good time. And it was, I want to say, late August 2014. Mid-late August. And we were all up at the cottage. And at this point, it's getting pretty close to school year, pretty close to hockey time. So I told, at this point, I've told my dad, like, I'll keep coaching hockey with you. We'll see if I can manage it with school, and we'll see if I look for a place out there, that kind of thing. What happens? But that was sort of the decision at the time that was being made. I was hoping to find a place out there and settle in and stream a lot, and that didn't happen. What happened was, one night at the cottage in August, we were all up there together as a family, and my mother was really not feeling well. And we were all there, like, people get sick and they get unwell, and it's like, okay, just like, all right, take it easy and we'll see what happens. And it was a weekend, and my sisters and I went home, and my dad and my mom were still there. They were going to stay the week alone at the cottage. And they came back early after a couple days because, she was really not well. She was, her skin was all discolored and whatnot, and it wasn't good. And we took her to the emergency room here in Toronto. And look, long story short, after a couple weeks of tests and figuring out what was wrong, we figured out she had pancreatic cancer. And I know I've mentioned that a little bit on stream before, but never like the full extent of it all. And it was my little sister was actually going into the final year of her study, or she was still in school. I think second last year of her studies. I was about to start college. My older sister had just been proposed to, and we had an engagement party earlier in the summer. We had all this stuff that was going on. And yeah, so that's the news you get. That's life, how it messes you up. And we dealt with it as best we could as a family. Now, it really is amazing because, like I said, my older sister had been proposed to by a nice guy she dated for 10 years. And the wedding was scheduled for the following June. So it's August 14. She has pancreatic cancer. She has to make it to June 2015 to see my older sister's wedding. And we just tried to cope as best as we could. And now it was all agreed. We had all this stuff going on. We're all like, okay, look, we're going to deal with this as best we can as a family. We're going to keep doing what we were doing to show that this isn't going to end us all. This is, you have to keep living your life. What else is there to it? And the cancer was terminal. It was inoperable as well. It was something there were too many arteries that were involved that couldn't be removed. It was terminal. My dad would later tell me, he didn't tell me at the time. He asked the doctor, doctors are always very vague on how much time you have. And he asked the doctor, is she going to make it a year? Will she make it to our daughter's wedding? And the doctor was like, well, she could. 2 years? The doctor's like, maybe. Very maybe. 5 years? The doctor's like, no. It's not in the cards. And so at a time like this, we're all trying to continue doing what we were doing. I'm starting school. Like I said, I wanted to look for a place out at school, stay there, stream, probably not coach hockey with my dad, but it's like, how can I bail on him doing, if he's going to do that now still, through this all, how can I bail on him doing that? So I had to stay at home. I didn't have to. I decided that it was the best thing for me to do, was to stay at home, commute to school an hour and back every day, coach hockey with him, and we could all be at home with my mom. And that's what we did. And it went pretty well. The first little while went really well. And, college was not too difficult. I made friends easily. We were all doing our own kind of things. My older sister bought a house. So, we were all living our life. And we were all kind of facing this the way we should face it, I think. Okay. So, armed with all this knowledge now, this, the way life goes, and so actually, I'm going to show a picture here. Give me a second. So, the little moments in life would kind of mean a little bit more, right? So, here's one from, we all decided, let's go out on Thanksgiving weekend, and let's go to a pumpkin patch and shit, and so here's a picture from Thanksgiving 2014. That's Big Ray, and that's my mom, Mama Mary, and look at that. That's true love. That's beautiful, right? There they are together, and just look at that. It's just such a sweet picture. We all spend nice time together, and it really gets you to cherish moments more. Okay. So, now that this heavy stuff is weighing on your plate, I was, like, I don't even know how my dad was able to do it. Like, it was insane for all of us, you know, going to chemo and back and you know, taking care, running to the pharmacy to pick up medication, all this kind of stuff. It was a lot of work. I don't know how I even did the school and coaching hockey and stuff, and I'd try to stream on the weekends and whatnot sometimes, but obviously you guys know I didn't stream very much at all during that period, and I would say it was because of school, but clearly there were other things going on. My father, I don't know how he did what he did, because he was working, coaching hockey. He would always go with her to chemo. He was on like boards, like he's, you know, he's a guy's on community boards. He'd go to meetings and stuff. He was running around like an absolute madman. And the stuff he did for my mother during that time was like, I like, it's just unbelievable. Seeing how he was, it was like a true man, true love, and he was taking care of his wife, and it was unbelievable to see, and really a great example. Okay, so we're gonna get to a familiar point in time now as we delve back into the GoldenEye section. And like I say, this whole story is going to be sort of, again, it's more my story with the level intertwining. Some of you will be familiar with this setting.
Some Dota base hunter.
So again, I couldn't stream all that much.
I put that in one of
I didn't really want to lead on what was going on.
I think. No, I put base.
You know, for a long time, actually at the start, my mother didn't even want anyone to know what was going. We didn't even tell friends and whatnot until it was a little bit too, like, you know. So very few people knew what we were sort of going through at the time. This is now February 2015. My mother is still with us at this point, and it's reading week for college. I have a week, no school. I don't have to drive an hour and back every day. I can play some GoldenEye. So let's play some Silo Secret Agent and try to get my precious world record back.
Secret Agent when I got it in 2007. In my Cradle Secret Agent 36, I used Bot and Anna. Good old Base Hunter. Vi sitter här egentligen och spelar lite Dota.
Wow, it is dedicated to Cam K86. That's amazing. Oh, yeah, GG to be honest.
How the fuck did I not get the DAT? I'm gonna cry. This run is world record pace. I didn't get the DAT. Even though I rightfully should have. Oh, fuck. If I get a 108 DAT fail, I'm gonna cry.
Did you hear that?
If I get a one... Fuck. If I get a 108 DAT fail, I'm gonna cry. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? This was almost 107. Why? Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Are you fucking kidding me?
That was pretty painful. Could have been 108. Could have been 107. I mean, look at the ending timer. It's... Look at this. What? 2150. If we look at Ace's ending timer, it is 2071. Literally, this run is 0.8 better than Ace's. And, oh, are you... I don't know how the DAT missed. Let's take another look here. I'm in. I'm shooting the scientist. And I just don't get the DAT.
How did I not get the DAT? I'm gonna cry.
Unbelievable.
This run is world record pace. I didn't get the DAT.
There you have it. Now, that hurt a lot. At least in terms of GoldenEye. Keep in mind the total timer, 27 hours. we're going to get to another video that's probably familiar to a lot of people. I'm going to step out while this plays for a moment and come back. But this is important, and now maybe armed with the context that I've set up beforehand, it changes a bit of the perspective on this famous rant. Okay. That was... What the fuck is that? Like, really? The run is good and that fucking bullshit happens. Some entirely really stupid stuck that is, like, impossible according to the pixels of the game to take place. Like, what the fuck? Why would such a thing happen? It's so dumb, dude. It's so... This fucking game, I tell you. How many hours of my life have I wasted playing this fucking piece of shit goddamn game just so I can get world records and feel good about myself? It's a fucking joke. That's the only reason people speedrun, really. Is so they can, like, get a world record. Because, like, you know, no one who speedruns is a fucking millionaire. You know, fucking hot bitches and, like, doing actually important things in life. Everyone who speedruns is a degenerate, and getting world records is the only way they can feel good about themselves. And, like, how many fucking hours of my life have I wasted doing that bullshit? It's so stupid. It's fucking pathetic. All I fucking do is waste my life away trying to get world records for a temporary goddamn high, which will last fucking, you know, a week or so until it goes away, and Ace exposes me for the world record shitter I am. Fucking hell, dude. It's a complete joke. Speedrunning is the most degenerate act man has ever come up with. Well, it's fucking true. It's fucking true. The only reason we speedrun is because we're too pathetic to accomplish anything else decent in life. So we fucking speedrun. Because it gives us this temporary feeling of, like, oh my god, I'm good. I'm the best in the world at this thing that, like, hardly anyone else does. That's all it is, really. We're all a fucking joke. You know, we masquerade around AGDQ like, haha, we're so cool making $1 million for cancer, you know, aren't we fucking special? Nah, we're just a fucking pile of goddamn losers, that's all we are. It's ridiculous. People thinking speedrunning is cool is the biggest goddamn meme on the planet. I think that's the good stuff there. And yeah, just like, after all that was weighing on my mind, and just to see the way life goes, it's just like, why? Why are we wasting our time speedrunning? Why are we doing this? I still stand by what I said in this video. I still think it's true for the most part. Again, like, people, you know, how much does the money raised at GDQ actually do well? Like, that was what was hard to reconcile for me, was like, Prevent Cancer Foundation. You know, leading up to when my mother was diagnosed, it was like, she would complain of back pain, she'd go to the chiropractor. She would often, like, it started, before it really started, she would ask me, like, oh, like, Ryan, like, you know, I left this jug of detergent in the car. It's too heavy for me to bring in. And I thought she was just being annoying. I really did. Because it's just like, okay, she sees her son being lazy or whatever. She wants him to do something. But no, she genuinely couldn't lift up a jug of Tide because her back hurt that much because of what was growing back there, going undetected, right? And it's like, how can I justify spending thousands of dollars to travel to GDQ to raise money for Prevent Cancer Foundation when it's just like, is that ever going to happen? Are we ever going to detect this shit early enough? You know, and it's just like, I don't know, that part made me pretty angry. And then it just like, kind of just thinking like how much time you're wasting when there's so much life to live, I guess. Yeah. Anyways, I think that rant's pretty much still holds true. But you'll see there's another side to it, right? I've talked before in other episodes about the yin and the yang and how things, you know, some things are good. Not everything is black and white, right? There's some good and bad and all. Anyways, that's that. Let's go back to the sunset. So now we are in 2015. Summer 2015. And it was kind of cool because, like I say, June 2015 came. My mother made it the year, thanks to some good chemotherapy, to her daughter's wedding. We had absolutely a beautiful wedding. Funnily, you know, people say a lot of things, but they said that my older sister's wedding was the best wedding since my mom and dad's wedding. And I believe it. It was absolutely insane. The best one I've ever attended by far. And I emceed the event. We had a great time dancing around. You know, I got the dance floor lit with my request for Backstreet's Back, of course. How could the dance floor not be lit with that song? And we really tried to enjoy 2015, the summertime. Now, at this point, I wasn't obviously in school, summer off. And at the same time, we weren't coaching hockey, you know, this whole, you know, with my mom. And actually the hockey team kind of just like, the guys we were coaching at the time were like 14, 15. And, you know, it was a shit show. You know, 14-year-old, 15-year-old boys, what they're like, right? You know, it was really tough to manage towards the end there of the 2014-15 season. The kids were way too egotistical. You know, we're trying to coach the playoffs in February 2015, and the kids are so far up their ass on what team they're going to be playing for next year in September. And it's like, dude, like, focus. Like, man, don't get me off on a tangent about minor hockey, but it's like tryouts are like in April, but by November the year before, everyone's already like figuring out which team they're going to be on next year, and it's a crazy scene. We finished the coaching the season proudly, and we put that aside, coaching the hockey. And you know, it was a good time, a good escape, a good service. Me and my dad going off and doing that. I mean, really 4 or 5 times a week coaching hockey, going to the games, going to practices and whatnot. But by mid 2015. Really around the Spearing in a Nutshell rant, that was kind of over and done with. And I finished first year of college now in summer 2015. Of course, all this good stuff's happening. And yeah, so I'd play a little bit. I'd come back to stream a little bit. If you guys remember, I was playing a lot of Depot. I got 00 Agent 47 live on stream. That was pretty cool. I got Depot SA 39 Untied World Record. Still in Untied more than 2 years later. Pretty proud about that one still. And that was when I played a lot of Splatoon. I don't know if anyone here remembers my Splatoon streams, but those were a wild, fun time as well. But of course, like, there was other things to do in 2015. I remember actually, I went one day, or not one day, I went for a couple of days to the cottage. You know, we went a fair bit that summer. But certainly I went, one point to the cottage, I went with just my mother. And just us two went for 2 nights. And I remember, like, just kind of taking it all in, right? And just chatting with her, sitting outside on the deck, you know, getting filled in all the family gossip. I don't know if you have a mom who's a gossiper. She would tell me about, you know, kind of going over all the stuff that you didn't pay attention to as a kid. Like, oh, like, you know, who's this set of cousins and what do they all do? And this set of uncles and aunts. And kind of just trying to, like, figure out all the family history, right? And I'll always remember just sitting on the deck with her, just chatting about this for like 2 days, driving up 2 hours to the cottage with her and all that kind of stuff. And the whole time we were there, she was like, we got to get a picture. Like, we got to get someone to take a picture of us, Rayan. And of course, a lot of times you think like, oh, okay, like, yeah, just, we can figure out when to get a picture or whatever. We never did that whole time. And then on the drive home, we stopped at Red Lobster, one of her favorite restaurants. And, I remember her asking for, was it the cheddar biscuits? She was never afraid. She asked the waiter, hey, can you bring a couple extra cheddar biscuits to bring home? And, and it's always funny how they can be. Anyway, so we're leaving the Red Lobster, and we realize that, this trip to the cottage, we didn't get a picture taken of the two of us, so, I said, okay, and she really wanted one, so I just snapped a selfie of us outside the Red Lobster. She couldn't make it all the way from inside the restaurant to the car in the parking lot, so we had to stop on a bench outside to rest a couple minutes. And I snapped this I don't look great, she certainly, is something, but look at her smile in there, right like that, despite it all, right? And just a goofy little selfie, and I'll always cherish that one for sure. So that one's very nice. And so I think after the following week, I think was actually when I did the Splatoon race. If you guys remember, I remember coming home from that trip with Mom, setting up the stream, and doing the fresh file to A+ 99 Splatoon race with Quexall and Twofool and Tudos. So it's like there was always this part of me that didn't want to give up on the streaming and whatnot. Really. Because that's what I went back to college for. It's like, it's what I want to do. It's like, so I was always trying to hold on to it and try to stream when I could, do cool things when I could. And that Splatoon race was a pretty good time. But of course, you're not going to make a consistent stream going when you can't stream consistently. And yeah, so that was summer 2015. Another kind of cool thing in summer 2015. And this is kind of I know you guys are cutting onions now. And in late August or early September, my dad took my mom on a cruise on a Caribbean. They went down to the Caribbean. They went to the Virgin Islands in the Bahamas. And, they met some cool people. I remember them telling me about meeting a nice pastor from Florida who they hung out with most of the week. And I remember this one story of him telling me they went to the Atlantis Paradise Resort in the Bahamas on this cruise. And how beautiful the water was. I would never imagine. I swim in this water we're seeing right now every summer. It's beautiful. And my dad was saying the water in the Bahamas is like nothing you've ever seen before. And I remember him telling me that, they went swimming there. They got out at the, Atlantis resort. And they were able to swim on the beach in the resort. And, they're calling to get people in the ship to keep going with the cruise for the night. And my mother was just in the ocean all day long and didn't want to come out. And they're calling, and she's just still in there taking it all in. And I just think my dad told that story for a reason, and it's she knew that was the last time she was ever going to swim in the ocean, the free again. And I can't imagine how that must be to think about those sorts of things, And it's man, one day we'll all get there, boys. And it's kind of hopefully, hopefully your life just isn't taken from you in a moment without being able to reflect on these things. But yeah, thinking about that, I just imagine what was in her mind at the time, and it's I can just picture her floating along in the ocean there, and it's really cool. All right. So 2015, fall 2015 happens. I go back to school, second year of a 2-year program. She starts on radiation therapy. It goes decently. It's a lot less, I guess, time consuming than chemo. And, so we're there back and forth. We're not doing coaching as much. And or we're not coaching at all. And yeah, everyone's kind of trying to go on with their life as they can. But, you know, we know time's running low. In around Christmas time, we got to Christmas time, 2015. Just before Christmas time, actually, though, like, you know, it's one of those things you wonder about life, like, why do I stay up so late, for example? And it, like, you know, I'm always up till 5, 6 in the morning. And it kind of, like, it comes in handy. Like in early December that year, I remember my dad coming to my room at, like, 3 in the morning. He's like, we're taking Mom to the hospital. Like, let's go. And, you know, it's like, suit up, we gotta go. And I gotta kind of, you know, in that state, you gotta walk her down or carry her down the stairs and get her in the car and go. And she was in there for about a week. But she made it back out for Christmas time. We had a nice Christmas time at home, 2015. And, yeah, just, again, taking it all in, you know, going through it. I think I might actually have an Instagram picture from that time. I'm gonna check it out. I think I have one of me and her back then, too. It might be 20... That one might be 20... yeah, no, I have one from the previous year. Not quite as poignant. But yeah, so Christmas time, you know, we get to the 2016, you know, January, February, March, finishing school and whatnot. And yeah, so, you know, I get all my work done that I get that needs to be done. My sister does as well, my younger sister. You know, my older sister's now been married almost a year to her husband. And, anyways, there's another speedrun to show here. And it's this one. Listen to this fucking audio, man. You guys know whose run this is. $55 door open, 53 in. Really nice run. Good kill out at 48. Very strong. Nice warp. And the beautiful headshot. Nice warp. No backs in the silver crates. Injure that guard perfectly, so he's not going to back boost him. Beautiful pitcher. Warps at 107 pace, to be honest. But it's hard to get a perfect ending, and Marc gets a very low at 21:30. Remember, my 108.11 dat fail was, you know, 0.50. This is 0.30 completed. Silo Secret Agent 108. There you have it. Pretty nice run. This was April 15, 2016, and there was a reason why I didn't really. Again, anytime someone gets a record on Silo Secret Agent, I would get upset under normal circumstances. But I didn't even notice this was going on because I had so much else going on at the time. Again, in late April 2016, another moment like that happened where my dad came into my room. This time was like 3 or 4 in the morning, and is like, "We gotta take your mom to the hospital again." And so we did. We got her in the car. And the crazy thing about that was that at this point onward, she wouldn't. Yeah, that was like, she went from one day walking around, driving the car, running errands. You know, not fine, but good. You know, and then she wouldn't. Anyway, we took her to the hospital. She was there for about a week, and we got her home. And now, if you remember 2016, if you remember it, I streamed out 3 times in 2016. I streamed, I think, twice in April. And the reason I have this Mario run here is because that's when... This is from April 2016. I only streamed in early 2016 when she was in the hospital. Because, like, what a lot of it came down to, especially in, like, March, April, May, was that I would kind of be chilling in the basement. I'd be doing my thing down here. And I'd be called up often to, you know, help her get some water or whatever. And, or whatever it might have been. Make her some toast or whatever late in the night. And, you know, it obviously got to the point later on in life when it's like you have to be helped all the time, right? And I'm like, how can I stream during this? Like, I'm done school now. I can technically stream. I'm done school. But it's not like I can stop streaming and just go upstairs. You know, like, imagine I was streaming, I had to, like, leave and go tend to my mother, right? It's kind of... It just was unfeasible. So there were a couple times I streamed in April and May 2016, and these are when she was spending the night in the hospital. And probably about 2 weeks there she spent, like, during that period of time, back and forth. And we got her back here, and she was just upstairs in it got to a point where she was in a hospital bed upstairs, just 1 floor up from here, where I'm standing. And so I would just kind of hang out in the basement. I'd play GoldenEye. I'd play Mario. You can actually kind of tell from the stream, like, I didn't really know what I wanted to do on stream. I was so kind of discombobulated. You know, Super Mario 64, 70-star relearning. It was just like, what am I going to do in the meantime? You know, what am I going to do? I wanted to get back into streaming, but obviously the timing just like, how could it be right? And, yeah, so there we go. You know, playing Mario, doing my goddamn box boost, which is a good tutorial, by the way. You should check it out if you want to learn how to do the star. But yeah. Anyways, like I say, we got her back from the hospital late May 2016, and anyways. My dad knew she wasn't going to make it long enough into the summer to get to their 35th anniversary. But he did realize this. He realized that, you know, May 22nd was the anniversary of their first date, which was their prom date. And it was 40-year anniversary of their first date. So he got it. We all got a little cake. And we made it, you know, we got ourselves into the backyard, got some sun, and he found this picture of them from prom day. You know, look at that. There's my mother and Big Ray hanging out on their prom day, and just beautiful and sweet, you know. Like, look at this swag master. Look at him in this fancy stuff, and there's my mother looking so happy and smiling. And that was kind of nice to have a little bit of cake and celebrate that occasion with everybody. And to mark 40 years of being together, like I say, like the stuff I've seen Big Ray do was unbelievable. Unbelievable throughout this whole journey. Anyways. At one point, actually, in May, and it's like I'm always also going to remember this one as well. At one point in May, I was down here in this very spot, and I'd be playing Streets Agent or Silo Agent, really as just an excuse to stay up through the night, you know? And oftentimes my mother would call me on the phone, and she'd say, hey, Ryan, like, you know, it's 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, you know, can you come up and, you know, I need some water, or I need help up, or whatever. And I'd go up, and, you know, obviously... And I remember one time I came up and she just wanted to chat, and it was like 3 or 4 in the morning. And, you know, she was upset. Obviously, how could you not be? And she's like, I'm I'm like, Mom, what are you upset about? You know, like, your whole family's here. We've all kind of, there's nothing left on the table, really. You know, everything has been said that needs to be said. Everything's been done. And she told me, or she said, like, I just don't want you guys to ever have a day without knowing how much I loved you. Now, the thing with my mother is that she lost her father in similar circumstances at a similar age. Her father was 54, and she would have been 27 or so. So same age as I was. And I never met the guy, and apparently was a pretty cool guy. And I said, Mom, has a day gone by in the past 30 years where you've forgotten about how much your father loved you? And she said no. And that's when I knew, that I gave her peace, that she would, her children would always know the love that she gave to them, always. And that was a good conversation to have. And I mean, these were the kind of conversations that we would have all the time, leading up to what happened. Anyways, not long after that, in late May, I was hanging out one night with, actually, my pal, Szklarz, came to Toronto. He was coming to an anime convention or something. And like I say, like, we'd be there all the time for Mom, but we'd live our own lives as well as we could. Szklarz was in town. I went out with him, hung out with him for a night, drove him around Toronto, showed him what's up. My sister was at golf lessons that night. We both came home around 11 or midnight. And that night, my mother passed away on that bed upstairs, with me, my younger sister, and my father all at her side. And that was that. The cancer had taken her away. And it's like, I'm sure many of you guys are, wondering, why am I telling this story in this fashion? And it's like, I knew at some point I had to tell this story to everybody. I knew you guys, it's one of those things. It's like, you guys have been, you guys have enjoyed being a part of my life for all these years. And, I've been absent for a couple of those years. And I knew I was going to do this episode tonight about Silo at some point, and I knew it would be centered around myself. And if there was ever a time to tell this story, I knew it would be tonight. So thanks for I know I took you down a path that you guys didn't know you were going down tonight. But thank you for all being there. So, I remember I spoke at her funeral. She wanted, like, one of her cousins and my dad to speak. And my dad's like, I don't think I can do it. And so I spoke. And, my dad always said throughout the whole journey that we were on those 2 years, there's so many, like, angels that came into our life. Like, sometimes if none of us were available to take her to the hospital or to chemo, a family friend would do it. She had these personal care workers that were really like angels. And so I spoke about that, and I spoke about just this true love between my father and my mother. And I spoke about, how much she loved us as well. And so a couple days later, and I know C-Track knows this, after it happened, like, a lot of things hit you. And so there was so much going on. It's like, finally she was ready to go, and so were we, right? And it's because it was so exhausting those last couple weeks, like, really. And we wanted her in the house, and I think actually it got so much for us over the last 2 months that my dad actually called to get her into, like, a care facility. And then that's the night she passed away. Like, she obviously didn't know. But yeah, Like she, that was crazy to me. He's like, finally we're too exhausted with this. We did our best to have her go in the house, and let's move her out of here. And that night, so that was crazy for sure. And I mean, I want to say it's not necessarily like fair, it's like to before you're 60 years old to pass away. We all feel sad for her that she would never get to see grandchildren. She'd never get to see the full potential of her children and whatnot. But to have 2 years to sort of go over all these things and talk to everybody and make up for everything and go out with just love, it's got to be a good way to go. So, after all that was said and done, I remember the day after the funeral, I had a couple buddies come over and we watched a playoff hockey game, Pittsburgh and San Jose, on the backyard of in the house, and that was a good time. Brought out a TV onto the deck. I actually had a couple beers that night. I know it's rare for me to have a couple beers. Oh yeah, what I was gonna say about Citrak knowing is that in all that chaos, I was like, finally, we can move on from this whole thing. So I posted on my Twitch channel that I will start streaming again in June. That's what Citrak often references. Because at one point during that all, I thought that I would be ready to stream in June, and it never happened. And I just decided, let's take it easy. Let's chill out. Let's just enjoy the summer, the family. Let's go back to the cottage. Let's just, be together after this all. And we were. And I'd come back and, again, it's not like I would, like I say, when she was here upstairs, I'd be playing GoldenEye into the early hours of the morning to be around to help. I would stay up late so that no one else would have to. My father needed rest as well. So I would kind of take the midnight to 8 a.m. shift of taking care of her. And obviously that trend continued as it has my whole life afterwards. And so, summer 2016 was a cool time. Pokemon Go came out and kept me busy. I heard a lot of stories about how Pokemon Go literally saved people's lives. And it's not, obviously we were in a sad place, but it's not like, it's not like we had each other, right? We were getting through it. Some other people were probably in much worse places, and Pokemon Go helped them through it. But I mean, I spent a lot of my summer walking the streets at 1, 2, 3 in the morning playing Pokemon Go, getting my eyes off, getting my mind off it all, and playing GoldenEye. Trying to get back into a bit of a normal routine. Normal for me. And a lot of August, I'd either be at the cottage or I'd be back at this exact spot. This is almost a year ago. I'd have the Pokemon radar open. And I'd be playing GoldenEye. One night, I'm trying to figure out, when am I going to be in a good enough state to return to streaming? When am I going to be able to tell this story that I just told you all on stream? And it wasn't then. But I was playing GoldenEye, I was playing Pokemon Go. I'd run out for a Snorlax or a Dragonite or a Bulbasaur. I'd come back in and play some GoldenEye. And I was in Discord one night in August 2016. And I was, Discord was cool because the whole time this was all going on, I was still in Discord chatting regularly about, the US election. A lot was going on to at least be a good distraction for me at the time. And, so I was always still chatting actively in the Elite Discord. I hadn't set up my own Discord at that point yet. So I'm in there chatting one night, and I'm like, wow, guys, I'm playing really well on Silo's Secret Agent. Oh my god, I'm getting, you know, this really fast-paced run. I'm getting all this stuff. And Jono, DSX Challenger, said to me, Goose, stream. You know, he had known what happened. A lot of the elite friends I have on like Facebook and stuff, so they knew that what was all going on. And Jono, I don't know why I listened to Jono that night, but I did. And I streamed to an alternate channel. Again, I wasn't quite ready to stream to you guys and whatnot. Jono said, mate, please stream. About 10 minutes into that stream, I got this run. Keep in mind, I hadn't PR'd since early 2016. I got a couple Aztec PRs. I hadn't world recorded on stream since Depot 47 in June 2015. We're more than a year later. That headshot, man. 53. I don't know if you can read that, but Jono's saying, oh my god, Quexalt, what the... Yeah. Now, unfortunately, the live audio reaction doesn't exist. Since I was streaming on alt, I was listening to music. I believe I had either Avril Lavigne or Katy Perry playing in the background at the time. I forget which one. But the audio will pick up, and Goose 2016 will retake you on that run. It was honestly pretty close to 107. I've been playing a little bit here and there through the summer. And I did have a complete choke. I had a warp at 108, and I botched it. I had a 108 pace Ormov warp, and I just missed the door. But I knew it was 108 pace. It was even low 108 pace, and I did clutch it. It was a low 108. You couldn't ask for too godly of an ending. I just said in Discord I can get 106 because I understand maxes and shit more. Grav. So Grav's asking how viable 107 is, and what I said here actually, I thought was like, man, that was quite accurate. Me saying I can get 106 would be like Cheese saying he can get 138. You probably can, but like you're not playing on that plane yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know you're capable of it, but like in order to actually get it, you have to elevate your game multiple times and continually play at that level. This run, I mean, we're gonna. I got it right here. you'll see. So, I think most of it was like pretty fucking perfect. I'll let it play through once, and then maybe I'll like go through and pause and explain a little bit. Like, that's fine, that's perfect, that's really good, that's pretty much perfect. If you're at 15.3 through that door is perfect, and then you're in mid 13, that's perfect. Opening the door at a low 9, a very low 9, and up the stairs at a low 6 is perfect. Like a mid 58 is perfect, and that was like a high 58, and the guard was headshotted, so that's like insanely good. This was a 55 door, and I'm through at 33, so that's perfect. The way I got through there was pretty much perfect. That door could have been slightly faster, but that was perfect, and that was perfect. Back boost there, and this was pretty much perfect. It could have been more perfect if the guard ran out of the door and I went right side. You see, that wasn't, like, it could have been a little bit more perfect. So I'm warped out of 107 pace, another back boost, so 2 back boosts actually. And a little, like, not perfect running there, but good enough for 108. 112.15 is a 108.46. So 2 back boosts and 108.46. Clearly, that run had 107 potential. Basically, a 55 door has 107 potential, and 106 potential with insane ending and shit. But that was a decent run, 108. Yeah, I'm gonna end stream and upload the vid and shit. So thanks, DSX. DSX did it. I don't know what was into him. He told me to stream. I hadn't shown my face for months, and I got Silo's Secret Agent 108. And yeah, it sort of initiated me in, like, let's do it. Let's get back into this, man. Let's go. Let's go. And so, you know, obviously at that point I still wasn't quite ready to stream to you guys yet. Not long after this, actually, I was at the cottage again, and my dad had been my dad had been feeling a little bit off. And he was feeling very anxious, he couldn't sleep, he was not doing very well. And I went to the cottage for a couple days in early September, and on the Friday, I was going to come home anyways that night. My sister calls me, I'm walking down the beach playing Pokemon Go, and my sister's like, took dad to the doctor. He's in the hospital right now. You're coming home anyways. Don't worry too much. It's not too insane. Anyways, long and short was, they called it heart failure at first. They didn't know what exactly it was, but he had a heart arrhythmia. And it was kind of freaky for a week there, seeing my dad. Whenever I went into the hospital, they had him hooked up to the heart rate monitor, and he's a 60-year-old man, and his heart's going 150 beats per minute. And it's like, holy shit. And it's like, the whole thing with my mom, it was like, okay, my dad was there to, be the leader in it all, right? And it's like, now with, my dad in that situation, now, like, I have to be the leader in case, in case shit happens. And that was some pretty serious shit to see. Well, Cardinal, I wasn't sure if I was going to tell this exact part of the story now, but his heart rate was so high that they didn't want him getting out of bed to use the restroom, okay? Because any exertion would increase his heart rate. And if he did get above it, he would go to like 150. He was resting at like 120, 130. And if he got out of bed, sometimes it'd be to 150. And anyways, that's where I got the idea of hanging out in the hospital with him. They would bring in the cardboard piss jugs, so that he didn't have to get out of bed to go to the restroom. I'll get an image here. Anyways, that's where I had the idea to one of these. You just have a go. You just do it. They give you one of these and you just go. And that's where I had the idea to, hey man, this is a really good idea. There's so many degenerates who game all the time. Imagine if we got a ton of these, we put gaming skins on them, and we sold them to the degenerate gamers. It's a certified medical grade piss jug. Put a May skin on it or something. All the Overwatch guys are going to take a whiz so they don't have to miss the the beginning of their game. Anyways, that's the idea that came to me when I was in the hospital with him. Fortunately, they got it all under control. It was just like, it was really, nobody knew necessarily what was wrong with him per se. We all think it was legitimately a broken heart. He had worked so hard, he had done so much that year that a couple months later he just kind of gave out. And after a week in the hospital, he came home and he's been doing really well ever since. So Big Ray's still around, doing great. He's going to be 60 coming up in a couple months. So there we go. There's Big. Anyways, that's that. And so the thing is, now Big Ray's in the hospital. Now Big Ray's unwell, and it's like, well, shit. Do I have to how can I jump back into streaming now? Right? Let's chill out again for a little while. Let's chill out again and just let things settle down. And they did, and we made it a few months. October 2016, November 2016, really, I would just sit around degenning Overwatch until the early hours of the morning with Quexall, Walrus, Lockwood, Hitaquita. We had a blast doing it. And I kind of needed that to sort of get back into the gaming mentality. Needed to stream. And eventually what happened was that, we got to 2017, the start of 2017, and I knew that I wanted to get back into streaming. I knew it 100%. Again, we're now like 3 years out of when I decided I was going back to college after having streamed and enjoying it and realizing that's what I want to do, We're 3 years out of that. I'm like, I gotta get back in. Every year, the past couple years, Jono, again, thanks DSX Challenger, put together a year in review. It was the perfect excuse. I could just jump in and stream that. And I didn't explain anything. Just did the year in review stream. And, it was kind of like a lore, right? And that was my first stream back since April and May of the previous year. I streamed once by the fire for an hour, just hanging out in December. Some of you will remember that. So I finally broke the absence, and I was back. And January 2017, I came back. And, so, I was playing Cradle back then. I got 34s. Then I did episode 1 of Frigate SpeedLore. I did episode 1 of the lore. And all that just made me realize, the whole journey and whatnot. I was like, if I'm going to do this and stream and make vids and try to do that for a living and give it a really good, honest go, I got to give it my best and make it worthwhile, And it's like, why do anything else? And I hope that's what I'm able to do with these SpeedLore episodes. I know you guys really, really enjoy watching these all. And, every time I do one, it's amazing. So thank you all. I still have 2 episodes to go this year, and they're going to be good. So, like I say, I know the story I know tonight's story went some places you guys never would have imagined, but really thank you all for watching it. We're back now. We're back in action, and this is it, guys. This is what we do. So, there's one more video I want to show you all tonight. One more lingering video. It was filmed in August of this year in Kansas City.
Imagine taping down, you see up,
I went down to Kansas to see the solar eclipse. We didn't get to see it. It was unfortunate. Clouds got in the way of our view. But we streamed a lot. I was with Grav, Clemens, and Boss. That sucks, but fuck it, dude. I was playing Silo Secret Agent. This night, I was playing maybe the best Silo Secret Agent of my life. I got 4 110s. And I got this run. And yeah, Grav is playing Doom on the side there. He really wants Doom to become a thing. Dude, watch this run of Silo SA is absolutely monster. And it's like, I was playing it so well, I can't get back to this spot. Dude, yes, subtract 4 110s and this run. And this was the last run. We ended stream after this run. Look at that stuck. 1 second stuck. A full second stuck.
Oh, skip the
The left strafe circuitry. Look at that stuck. Oh, terrible stuck. That warp. Yeah, the chat was good. Look at this run. Boss's legs are going crazy now after he woke up to that. Look at this fucking shit.
Oh, check it out.
Silo Secret Agent 109 performed live at the Solar Eclipse meet. One cool thing about this run was that it was performed on Bryan Bosshart's cartridge. The same cartridge he used to get this 112 13 years earlier. I made a new file. I didn't beat his 112 file PB. But it was on this same cart that he got the legendary 112 13 years earlier. And I should end by showing the rankings as they stand now. So, 108's Ace, Marc, and myself. 109 Clemens and Luke. 110 Jono. When I got that 110 in 2007, only 6 people have ever gotten that, have ever matched that time or improved it. Excluding myself, it's 5 people. More men have stood on the moon than have got Silo 110 or better. And, I mean, even Boss's 112 still stands up to this day. Even Wouter's 115 is still worth a remarkable amount of points. This just sums up really just how good these times that you've seen tonight are. Really remarkable runs. So there you go, guys. There's the story of Silo Secret Agent, or perhaps the story of me, Rayan White, Goose, and how Silo Secret Agent intermingles with that. I hope the story doesn't end. I hope to get 107 someday. It's certainly possible. It's like I say, this level's been there at all points in my life, right? I feel like it's my level. And I want to get 107. I'm going to go for 107. On and off, though, like throughout the years. Ace and Marc also want to get 107, so I really hope they don't snipe it from me. But they're really good. They might get it. But then 106 is out there. It's insane because no major strategies have changed since 2001. It's just like master level. Be amazing at the level. That's all it is. And that's what we hope to do here. So thank you all for watching, guys. I'll be back next month with another SpeedLore episode, Runway 00 Agent. That one is going to be insane. Get really, really keen for that. I've got a bunch of good YouTube videos planned coming up soon, but faked videos, some control styles. I spoke with Dr. Doak, the developer of the game. I have an interview. I have a bunch of stuff. I gotta figure out how I'm going to put that on YouTube. So I'll get that up soon. I'm going to start doing a monthly basic tutorial for the patrons. So check that out check out my Patreon if you're interested in that. If you want to, you're saying what level I should do a tutorial on. Check out my Patreon. I truly appreciate all the support, the love, and kind words. Stay true. Thank you all. And I'll see you in the next stream or video, guys. Bye-bye.